Yo, 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 it is midday and we are feeling better. My back is a lot better. Yay! Was it the lying down yesterday? No. But there is a major lesson to be learned. So, if you're following along, firstly we're back to the OG spot. Also let me show you something which is really sad. My ex-partner bought this plant and I've been watering it and I've put it closer to even the sun and it's still dying, and I look at it and it's like, is that signaling like the death of our relationship? It's so sad. It's like I tried to water it, I tried to look after it. I can't even look after a plant. I tried to look after my partner and I couldn't look after her. Anyway, it's sad. So, my back is better, which is wild. Today's topic, which I've been like edging to talk about on the treadmill, edging to talk about yesterday. So I filmed the video yesterday, I'm lying down, etc. And somewhere along the lines, I'm walking through from another gym session because like I can't just cry or business. I'm like, okay, I'll just go do another gym session. So, and I walk past and I'm like, oh, that's right. I should have some apple cider vinegar that helps process stuff in general. And I have a little tiny shot of apple cider vinegar, and in about 20 minutes, I feel alive. Like literally like chills running through, like I'm smiling, I'm like, ah! And I was like, hang on, what's just happened? And the only thing I did was I changed apple cider vinegar. Now, this isn't a pitch for apple cider vinegar, not at all. So with my diet currently, because I'm not getting a lot of carbohydrates and I'm moving a lot, it produces just the scientific stuff. It produces a lot of uric acid and basically causes your body to be off in pH acidity wise. Okay? Something I completely forgot, right? Because everything else is going wrong so bad in my life. Like I'm not sleeping, family health, ex-partner, business, everything's just like, I was just like, it makes sense that I'm anxious and I'm depressed and I'm horrific and everything's just all over. My back is screwed, yep, because I've been training so hard. Like it all made sense, right? And had the apple cider vinegar, suddenly felt better. Don't get me wrong, everything else is still there, but suddenly that was better. Even my back was a little better. And it's interesting because the lesson here isn't apple cider vinegar. The lesson here is when you strip everything back down to basics and you're just eating healthy food, you're just moving, and you're doing the same thing every day, right? More or less, right? You're eating the same stuff. Let's just call it eating the same stuff, moving a similar amount. If you experience a change of emotions or a change in your body, I always go, okay, well, what's different now? Like, what did I change to make me feel this way? Because I'm not addicted to any sugar, because I'm not addicted to any drugs, alcohol, television, anything like that, why am I feeling off? So it's the acute listening of your body. And then what I did is I introduced one new thing called apple cider vinegar, and then observed the change, okay? My guts haven't been unbelievable. So about 6-7 days ago, I introduced more foliage, okay? So more kale and spinach into sort of every-ish meal, right? That will take 4 to 5 days for me to experience sort of the difference compared to immediately. And that's the hard thing with food or supplements, or, well, food in general, is when we eat something, people go, I'm going to eat this, piece of meat now. Well, that's going to take 24 hours to process. That's going to take a certain amount of time to get into your system. You're still using fuel from food and nutrients that you had 2 days ago. That's why people eat McDonald's and they're like, I still feel great. And then they wake up the next day and they're like, I still feel great. Mate, more McDonald's. Well, no, the McDonald's isn't even being used for nutrients yet. Whatever nutrients they have. So food has a longer half-life. It's the wrong word. I call it a longer ester. A longer ester is like, it's a longer duration. It's a longer, ester's the wrong word. I just make up words sometimes. A longer onset to experience, onset. You'll experience a longer onset till you feel the effects of food. So if I eat apple now, the sugar in it, I might feel that in 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes. The nutrients of the apple flooding my body, 2 days. Apple cider vinegar, because my acidity was all out of whack, it just went zoomp. It was relatively instant. And it was so profound, I was like, you absolute idiot, Andrew. You know this. You've done this. You've been this. And then I was like, look, be kind to yourself. We miss it sometimes. It's okay. And moving on. I remember the same experience of, I used to train really hard, right? Well, I still train really hard. I was training really hard and I was tired. I'm getting shredded and I'm falling asleep on the treadmill, etc. And I was like, whoa, how do people do this? I must be still weak. Go harder, go harder. And then I was reading about potassium, and you would have electrolytes, but electrolytes, I found that you can't get much potassium, because if you have too much potassium, you can die. It's like an instant death. Your heart fails. So you can't actually get high doses of potassium. But it says potassium, we need 4 grams per day of potassium, or 4,000 milligrams. And even in electrolyte drinks or tablets, it's only like 100 milligrams. So even if I have 6 of them, it's still 6. But I noticed I was feeling better. So I was like, all right, let me try like 300 milligrams of potassium. So I found factory, literally bulk a kilo of potassium. I'll show it to you. And then I put that into my drink halfway through my workout, and it's like I had the energy again to go for another entire workout. It was just so mind-blowing. And the problem is we experience so much pain. We're like, oh, I'm tired. Have a coffee. Oh, I'm like so lethargic, or my guts are off. I'll have this other thing. What businesses prey on is the fact that we don't listen to ourselves and we don't have a fucking idea of what's going on. Like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, want more energy? Take this. Right? Oh, I'm so achy. Oh, are your joints in pain? Have some ibuprofen, Nurofen. Great. So businesses prey on us not understanding what firstly, not listening to our body, and then when it's too late and we're like, the body's giving us a signal, not knowing what the hell to do. And for most people, it's not upsetting that you don't know. All our days look different. Our food is different. Yesterday I ate sushi. Today I ate pizza. Yesterday I drank. The other day I'm not drinking. I'm still hanging over. Like alcohol, its lasting effects is probably about 4 days. I've noticed for myself, 4 days. Marijuana, about 2.5 days. And that's if you exercise, maybe 3. People are like, nah, I feel fine the next day. No, your next day towards the evening, you'll get a little more anxious. Then it kind of leaves on the 2.5 days. So if you smoke a joint, it's a 2.5 day experience. Most people are like, nah, it's like a couple of hours. No, it's a 2.5 day experience. The first hour and a half or 2 hours is the fun bit, and the rest of it is what's left over. So most people's whole routines and everything they put into their body is so fucked that you won't know where the symptom comes from. I'm trying to give you the most important mental model, which every coach, every trainer, if you go and get coached by somebody, if somebody gives you a meal plan, if somebody gets you shredded, if somebody gets you, be like, just follow this diet, you will never actually know for yourself. You'll never know your body. You'll never understand how it works. You'll just be the thing that's like, oh, do the thing. Okay, I'm going to do the thing. Then you're like, yay, I'm the thing now. Why don't I have the confidence of somebody that knows themselves like that? Because you don't know yourself. You're just following shit. To be able to experience confidence in body and know thyself, know thy energy, you must have a baseline. Just have a baseline. Like if you're eating McDonald's every day, great, start there. And I cover this off in the book. Cool, then make one change. Stop eating the burgers out of the McDonald's or stop eating the chips. Notice the difference, replace it with something, you know what I mean? So the point is take a baseline. You need to take, like a scientific study, what is the baseline of my existence? Okay? Baseline. I watch YouTube every day. I eat junk food at night. I work out every second day, and I drink 2 liters of water, and I have 4 coffees a day. That's your baseline. Okay. Notice how I feel. Cool. Make one change and then hold it for a week. Then you'll be like, oh, I went from 4 coffees down to 2 coffees. And I swear I do feel happier and a little bit less edgy. Right. Too much caffeine creates edge. Therefore, if I'm ever edgy again, I'll be like, hang on, am I having too much caffeine? Oh, that's right, I am having too much caffeine, instead of being like, oh, I'm just an anxious wreck, I don't know what's going on. So, doing this will change your life. So the model isn't apple cider vinegar, not at all. The model is understanding that establish a baseline, make one change, hold it there. Ah, that's what made the difference. Cool, I know now. Excuse me. I just ate chicken, covered in potassium, sodium, mixed herbs, turmeric, kale, spinach, and cabbage, shot of apple cider vinegar, and some creatine, and all my vitamins. Mate. And the endorphins have just hit. I just feel like, so before I was a bit edgy, the food's it's like hitting now. I'm feeling good. That just happened right there. Like that just happened right there. Like in that moment, holy shit. I was like so tired. I was like, click record. And it happened right there. So just a pure another example of I ate, I drank enough water and I did all those things, and then, I see the difference. And what the problem is with our health is we don't know the dots. We don't connect the dots. An entire businesses, the entire of society is built on preying on people not being able to connect the dots. Connecting the dots. Mental model is establish a baseline, make one change at a time, observe the difference. Make another change, observe the difference. Sometimes you'll make a change, it'll be a shit change, right? Sometimes you'll do a change, it'll be a shit change. You'll be like, oh, okay, that wasn't a good change, bring it back. Cool? Like, make a small change, observe the difference. Small change, observe the difference. Another pet peeve that we have to discuss, just so you're aware. So I'm training pretty hard, okay? 3 hours a day, okay? Not for the faint-hearted. I'm a fucking athlete. I built up to this. 10 years. My mother was an athlete when, like, I was brought up. I explained this to somebody yesterday. I was brought up like a fucking dog. Like, literally leashed like a dog. I was like, go! Like, it was like that Soviet, Russian, Jewish, like, you must succeed along all costs. And my mother was a pro athlete, so it's like, pro, like, 3rd in the country once or something, like, pro. So I exercised every day. So don't just do this, just be like, yes, I'm going to do what Andrew do. Don't do that. Listen to yourself. Start at your baseline, make one change at a time. Anyway, working out heavily, right? Eating lowish calories, like there's a high deficit in there. My scale weight has stayed the same for 8 days. And even before then, I'd only dropped a kilo in like another 7 days or something like that. Now, I explain this in the book with weight fluctuations. This fucks people up so hard. It's probably the number one reason why we give up or stop our weight loss sort of progression. But I just like to say that is happening currently right now. In fact, like that's happening currently right now. And at times during the day, I look worse than I did, at least I think, a week or a week and a half ago. And then that's how the scale weight, you're like, but the scale weight hasn't moved. Oh my God, I look worse. Oh, whatever. And I had the back as well, so I can barely move. So I'm like, no, my muscles are deflating. And look, it's been a journey on the rig side. But that's where we're at there. So that's a pet peeve. The ex, because she always needs a mention. I'm praying for her. I'm missing her. We have thousands of photos. So I've had a look at some photos and it's really nice. And in some of those photos, I can see today's realization was this. So we got together, and then over time I saw that like there was some real mental concerns, right? Mental concerns of like, this is incompatible at the moment. I'm like, I can't do this. And until then you could see the smiles between us were nice. Well, the smile for her was really nice. And then I ended up breaking it off. She went and traveled for 2 months and then ended up coming back. We couldn't stop talking literally almost the next day. We were like, nah, I guess this is just a pause. But I realized that breakup, and when she came back, she said it really traumatized me. And I said, well, of course it traumatized you. You did narcotics, you were like in a whole new place, and you just... But what I realized is when dealing with attachment styles, her attachment style in general, if your parent or caregivers basically give you unstable emotional responses and sometimes have like fight in them or make you fear that you're not safe, you come out with an attachment style between partners of fearful. You have a bit of fear, or that the partner at any point, like your caregiver, is going to one day just lose it and be like, that's it, no, get out, right? And she had been kicked out of the house many times, etc. Not because of her fault. I mean, maybe I wasn't there. No, I mean, based on what was brought up, it was nowhere near the best parenting style. So, fear-wise, I literally triggered that fear response and I became that person again. I became that person in her subconscious mind that is stable, and then at some point is just like, nah, wait. And that created instability. And we never, even though we addressed it, there was so many things to address, I never really took the responsibility to really address that in a real way and not have it trigger her anymore. Address what had happened, how it happened, and why that won't happen out of the blue. Well, it wasn't out of the blue, why it wouldn't happen again. But I can see my personal responsibility there, that doing that just created in her subconscious that I was a hot and cold person. Even though we went through the full explanations, like even though when we were breaking up at the time, I was like, babe, like, it's obviously this isn't working, can you see that? She's like, I know, but like, really? But I know. And I'm like, but it isn't, you really need to go away and do a bit of you, and like, it really isn't working. She's like, really? But it didn't matter, even though it was brought up comfortably, even though it was brought up without any screaming, even though we spoke about it for many weeks, it still created a response. It still created a response that didn't have the security that her subconscious needs. And I think everybody wants that security. No, forget even her, like everybody wants the security of saying, hey, my partner's gonna stick around. So I totally get that. And I get that that had an impact on our relationship. And that's, where I'm at. I hope she's okay. I hope she's well. I hope she's getting well. I hope she's getting sober. That's the hardest thing. And that would be my package. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go get my vitamins. Peace.